Halloween fans want a lot of different things, and there's quite a few people that want something that dovetails off of one of the movies, such as Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Now, the question is, would that be something that you really want? Do you really want a continuation of the Jamie Lloyd story starring Danielle Harris? I've had some people talk to me and say that's what they want, but I'm just curious with all the different ideas out there and the possibilities. I mean, I'm not talking about the type of story where you got Loomis going crazy using a little kid as a shield and baiting Michael Myers. No, no, I'm talking about a story that's really, really good, like Halloween 4. So let's talk about this. What's going on, guys? We're here to talk about some of the different possibilities for the Halloween franchise, and in particular, one of them that's been brought to my attention countless times. I've talked about it as well, and it's where do we start a new movie when it eventually comes back? Now, before I get into that, don't forget to the like button. It helps to support the channel. If you're not subscribed to the Nightwatch Zone, please do it. Helps to support us and this fantastic community. Now, when we talk about possibilities, so many people, and I've had polls where I've, put it out there and asked, so many people are talking about they want a continuation of the Jamie Lloyd story, not from Halloween 5, but from Halloween 4. And don't get me wrong, guys, Halloween 5 is a good time. I enjoyed quite a bit of it. There was some great scenes in it. It was also some crappy shit that they did. They did Rachel dirty. That was like one of the worst things they've done in the franchise, in my opinion. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't continue off of Halloween 5. I'd much rather continue off of Halloween 4 because then it makes sense to have a time jump where now we're with Jamie Lloyd as an adult. She has a child or what have you, and that would make a lot more sense. The end of Halloween 5, it just puts you in a corner, and that's exactly how we ended up with Halloween 6. They kept going down on this rabbit trail that really left them with fewer and fewer options. That's not to say there's no merit in 5 or 6, because I can enjoy both of them for what they are. I mean, I enjoy 5, more than 6 in general. There's some things that, that's the thing about the Halloween franchise, guys. It's a roller coaster. But I think if you follow off of the Jamie Lloyd story, I think it could be some really, really cool things that you could do. Now, there's stories out there about the fact that it's very unlikely that that's going to happen or happen anytime soon because of the different rifts between, Danielle Harris and Malik and all this type of stuff. I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. Money and business talks at the end of the day. And one thing we know for sure is the David Gordon Green timeline. That one is finished. There's no continuing that. I know there's some folks out there that wanted to see a continuation of the Corey character and the possibilities of that, but I just don't see it happening. Just like I don't see a continuation of the Rob Zombie timeline. That one is dead. He got burned by the studio. He's really just all out of sorts with Halloween in general, and I get that too. But when you look at the other movies, I think that you could do something off of 4. It's a very, very simple situation. You've got time for the time jump and all of that.
Don't try that Halloween shit with me.
So for you guys, I guess the question is this, and the fan base is really passionate, right? There are some people that are really, really passionate about, let's say, Halloween 6. There are even some folks that want to see a continuation after Halloween Resurrection. And we know that they had plans to do a lot of these things. There were planned sequels, tons of planned sequels, guys. I mean, at some point we'll talk a lot about that stuff too. So there's stuff out there. But for me, I could deal with a Danielle Harris led Halloween film, but it would have to be set up in the right way. Now, there are some folks that say, well, because of the fact that Jamie Lloyd is not a popular character in the franchise, or I should say not as popular of a character as Laurie Strode, there's some people say that it would never happen. There's no way possible. And plus, because of the fact that there would be confusion about this new timeline that would be out there for the fandom or for the folks that aren't huge fans of Halloween. Now, I get it. I understand why some people would think that it wouldn't work, and I also understand why some people think that it would cause too much confusion and not make the film as a product more wide reaching to people. But at the end of the day, if you give us a really good Michael Myers, you've got some good practical effects, you got some good kills, you got a good setup, a good story, and then you say that this is Jamie Lloyd, and you fill in the gaps obviously in the movie. I think it still can be marketed. I really, really do. I don't think that that's going to stop people necessarily from seeing a Halloween movie. Halloween fans are going to see it, and people that are more kind of like, they're not diehard fans. If they see Michael in that movie, if they know that Michael's in that movie and killing people, they're going to come in, they're going to check the film out, and they'll figure it out. They'll get acclimated to what's going on in the story. I really don't think just because Jamie Lloyd is, less popular than Laurie Strode, I don't think that that should be a reason that that idea is never, fully thought about. Because again, I mean, you look at Halloween 2018, when that came out, there were people that were totally confused. Well, didn't they kill Michael? Or what's going on? How come they're not brother and sister anymore? All these different types of things. And they had to get used to the idea that, okay, this is 40 years later, and it does not follow the events of any other movie except for Halloween 78. There were a lot of people that had to get on board and understand that so that they could understand the movie and hopefully enjoy the movie and that whole trilogy. So doing something after Halloween 4, I don't think is totally crazy or totally out there, like I've heard some people say. I mean, again, I'm sure that's part of the conversation, because when you're putting together a product, you want that product to be something that will have mass appeal, right? And obviously Laurie Strode as a character, as an icon, and Jamie Lee Curtis as a legend in the franchise, and in even outside the franchise having appeal, yeah, that was an easy slam dunk. Obviously every time that she was in one of these movies, it helped raise the profile of those films. Even in something like Resurrection, she was only in the film for 5 minutes. Nah, it was more than 5 minutes. But even with that, they tried to market it where, Laurie's in the story, she's prominent on the poster, all those different types of things. It's the sequel to H2O, so you've got to see it. And the truth of the matter is that Resurrection was not Laurie's movie. They did her dirty. I'm sick and tired of these Halloween movies. They keep doing these characters so wrong. They did Rachel wrong in 5. They did the character of Jamie Lloyd wrong in 6. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, seriously, it's crazy. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So, but the thing about Laurie Strode as a character, I really think it's done. It's done, at least for the foreseeable future. And I'm talking about years. I'm talking about easily more than a decade. We could be talking about 20 years. And if they're making Halloween movies, which I'm sure they will be, and you want to reintroduce the character of Laurie Strode with obviously a different actress, and maybe do something different with her story, that's something I could see way down the road. But right now, I think that character is done. I think there's no reason to bring Laurie Strode back. Obviously, Jamie Lee Curtis is not planning on doing any more portrayals of Laurie Strode. So that's fine, because this whole trilogy that we just had, she had her story. And her story ended with her having victory over her arch nemesis. So it's cool. She got her flowers. We're done. But bringing back Danielle Harris, I really think is a great option. Because Danielle Harris is very, very popular in the horror community with fans. I mean, when we saw her at the convention at Terracon, there were so many people in line talking to her, trying to get autographs, all that type of stuff. And she was awesome, with the crowd. She was awesome with the fans. People enjoy her work. I remember asking her specifically, and she couldn't say anything. We're still dealing with the strike. She couldn't say anything, but she's totally up for coming back to the franchise, continuing the story. She's already put out there on social media, I'm sure everyone has seen it by now, but her own idea or some things that were really, really great ideas in her mind, how you can continue this story, make it work, make it make sense, and make it something that will entice not only the current Halloween fans, but other people that aren't fans yet. And that's a great recipe, right?
Hey, buddy, just give you a heads up. I got a Taco Deluxe Supreme talking back at me.
That's what we want. So to me, and I've said this before, but I really think it's a great possibility for you guys. That's the question though. Like for the Halloween fans, I know there's going to be a lot of people that would be excited to see this. A lot of people want to see this, but I know there is a part of the fan base. It's a passionate fan base, but I know there's a part of the fan base that's going to be like, oh no, why are we doing this? Why are we coming off of another movie again? You know, it's getting old, it's getting tired, and so forth and so forth. And again, like I've said with a lot of these legacy franchises, legacy sequels, or remakes and reboots, this is what it is, guys. They're going to continue to make these films if there is a fan base for them, okay? If there's money to be made, these movies are going to be made. If there's not, then that's when you're not going to see these films for a long time, or they're going to go on to streaming, or, you know, like back in the day, things would just go right to direct to video. They wouldn't even come out in the theaters. That's the process. That's what happens. And Halloween right now is as popular as it's ever been, and we're just a couple years away from a 50-year anniversary. Imagine that, guys. We're a couple years away. You know, we just had the 45th. So we're a couple years away from 50 years, and this franchise it's at the top of its peak. It's at the peak. You know, it's popular as it's ever been. It truly is. And I don't see that slowing down for several years, especially when we talk about the fact that we're going to have streaming and we're going to have more stuff coming out. Like, you know, there's tons of stuff coming out. We got the books, the merch, all that type of stuff. At the cons, you got the stars from the old films. Everything is just rolling, you know, and that's because of the impact of the David Gordon Green trilogy. Okay. Now, moving on, you know, past that, the next thing is, what are we going to do? Do you really want to see Jamie Lloyd come back? Do you? You know, that's the question. My personal opinion, that's one of a couple of ways that make sense. My idea is to just start a brand new timeline, totally just altering the mythology, so to speak. You know, and I've talked about this, whether you follow off of 78 and you totally take it down a brand new path with no connection to Laurie Strode, maybe even not even a connection to Loomis, although I do love Loomis, and if they could figure that out, that would be a lot of fun. But starting a whole new timeline, something brand new. I mean, hell, that could go on for another 45 years as far as a franchise, you know, movies and so forth. Other ideas, of course, is how it's going to be connected to the streaming show and how they can be linked up and all this type of stuff. So there's a lot of ideas out there, but the idea to follow off of Halloween 4, I think it makes sense, other than something like Season of the Witch anthology stuff. But I'm talking about Michael Myers stuff, because it's not going to follow off of H2O, obviously. I don't see them following off of Resurrection. I don't see them following off of Halloween 5. I don't see them following off of Halloween 6, although there are a lot of people that do like that idea. Let me know. What do you guys think about that? Would you want to follow off Halloween 6, the whole idea of Cult of Thorn? Michael gets away at the end. He's walking down that long hallway and all that. Could that work? Would you want to see that? Me, I don't know. I mean, I'm open to anything because I'm just a fan of the franchise. But I don't really see them going with Halloween 6. Halloween 2, that's possible. That's possible. I don't know if I really love that idea too much, because we got a great sequel in Halloween 4, right? You know, so I think it would make more sense to follow off of Halloween 4, but it's possible you could follow off 2. So you really only have a couple of ideas that, to me, makes sense, right? You guys in the comment section, let me know what makes sense to you. Should they follow off of one of these sequels? And if so, which one? And how would you craft it? What do you want to see? If they were to follow up with the Jamie Lloyd story, and again, it looks as though that's not a huge possibility right now, but if they did that, what do you think of that? Would you want to see it? And what would you want to see in that film? She's obviously going to be an adult. I think having a family would add to the story. And of course, you populate it with other characters. It'd be great to bring back Ellie Cornell, as Rachel. I think that would be fantastic. Some people say, oh, we're always bringing back old characters and nostalgia and this and that. Man, that's what movies are about. They're about making the fans enjoy it, that it's entertaining and so forth. So at the end of the day, if they do it right, if it's executed the correct way, then I'm all set. I'm all good with that. It's when they do things or they nostalgia bait and it has no purpose to the story whatsoever, or if they have a character that they bring back and it's just trashed. You know what I'm saying? The possibilities or the opportunity is totally trash. You look at what they did with Sally Hardesty in the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, there were so many missed opportunities in that. It started off kind of cool with her character, and then it just, boom, it nosedived. So that's an example of, yeah, I don't want to deal with that type of nostalgia, But anyways, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the possibility of them following off of 4. And more importantly, would you really want it? Would you really, really want it? There's a lot of people on both sides of the fence with all of these ideas. So I'm just curious, as far as for the folks watching this, what do they really want? What would they be okay with? Because I know a lot of people, they have that sour taste in their mouth from Halloween Ends. So what would fix that for you? We all love Michael Myers, and if you want to see Michael Myers come back, how? Tell me how in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel. I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to Night Watch Zone, please do it. This is the time to do it, and I will talk to you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch.